A7 Alba, which is water resistant up to 100 meters, has a stainless steel body, a pattern dial, but cost only less than 10,000 rupees. You are greeted with an Alba branded box which has a white sleeve on top. Once you remove the white sleeve, you have a leather pattern to this box, but it's not leather. And once you open that, you're greeted with foam. That's essential. And more wrapping paper if you want to keep your watch secure. So let's keep the watch aside and go for the specifications of the watch. The Alba AG8N47X1 is a blue ripple pattern dive inspired watch from Alba. It is powered by the caliber VJ32, which is a quartz movement. It has a screw down case back, a stainless steel body, blue ripple pattern dial, a date function, 100 meters of water resistance, and luminous hands and marker. When it comes to the dimensions of this watch, it has a case size of 44mm, a thickness of 10.7mm. If you include the crown as well, you have a case size of 46.7mm, a lug to lug width of 50mm, a lug width of 21.5mm, and it tapers down to 19.8mm. The wave pattern is the unique selling point of this watch. The amount of precision they've taken to make the case and dial takes more time than anything in this watch, because it's just a simple wave pattern, but the way they executed it is just mind-blowing. So when you look at the watch from afar, you'll see a slightly grey, black and white composition to the dial, but if you tilt it a little bit, you can see more of grey and dark blue. If you hit it towards the light, you can see much more of that wave pattern, which is actually a really good touch to this watch. The bezel, it has so much premium feel to it. Minute striations of the bezel are etched inside. It's like a laser printed design. The finish to it is so nice, and it doesn't have the pearl because this is not a dive watch, it's a dive inspired watch. And even the ridges are so well made. When I was reviewing this watch, sometimes I forget that this was not even a dive watch. I started to rotate the bezel, but it didn't even move a bit. So when you look at the indices, they are bold, and you have the 12, 9 and 6 in numbers, whereas the others in shape. And you have a date marker at the 3 o'clock position with the minute striation between each hour. So that is a good touch to this watch. And you have the seconds hand in red, which gives a lot more color to this watch. Basically, it's a blue and white combination, but the color of the seconds hand pops a little bit. And you have the Alba logo at the 12 o'clock position, water resistant above the 6 o'clock position, and Japanese movement at the 6 o'clock position. Just love the design of this watch. When it comes to the case back, you have the Alba wave pattern motif to it, so which is a good touch to this watch. The concept of this watch makes me sometimes confused whether I'm really looking at a dive watch or a dive inspired watch. It has all the aspects of what a dive watch must have, but it isn't one. When it comes to the build quality, this watch is just awesome. But the amount of precision they've taken to make the case and the dial, if they concentrated a little more on the strap, it would have been much better. But the strap is not as thick as the case, but still, it's not a big issue. It's just what it is. If you like the video so far, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. I do everything related to watches and watches only. And thanks to Gangoly Watch Eyewear for sending me this watch for review. They are one of the oldest watch dealers since 1935, and they house a variety of brands. If you're in New Delhi, please do check them out, and I've added more information about them in the description. Please do check them out. The loom of this watch looks perfect at first, but I'm not satisfied with it. When you hit the watch with UV light, you can see that all the indices and markers light up. But after some time, the indices only glow longer, whereas the markers just fade off. So that was the thing which I didn't expect from this watch. But still, if it had a little more powerful loom, I would have been much happier. Even though this watch is perfect when it comes to the design, I feel that it has a few limitations. The first is the date marker. The date marker is placed at the 3 o'clock position, which is not a problem, but the color of the date marker is of the same color as the dial, so it's a little difficult to actually read the date. If they had given it like a white background to it, it would have been much better. And the second thing is the loom, which is not the greatest. It's a quartz movement. I'm not saying it's bad, but still, if they had given an automatic movement with the same price tag, it would have been much better. And the strap is quite flimsy as well. It's not the strongest, so that is another thing which I didn't like. It makes a little squeaky sound sometimes when you're using the watch because of the hinges. the price of this watch is just a banger. It is priced at 8,000 rupees, which I feel is not very bad for its design and build quality, but still, if you get it on discount, it will be much more better. But otherwise, I feel justified for the price of this watch. It being a dive inspired watch, it makes more sense. But you have a dive watch competitor in Casio, which is Casio Duro. So if you have to compare both of those watches, Casio Duro has an upper hand and a little more cheaper than this watch. That is a caveat. Before I answer that question, first thing you need to keep in mind when you're buying this watch is that this is not a dive watch. But if you're a person who wants a dive watch design but doesn't want the screw down crown and the rotating bezel and you don't care about the dome, this is the perfect watch for you. But still, it's priced a little more higher than an actual dive watch which Casio offers. So in that point, I would say this watch lacks the dive component. But still, it's a really good watch and it's a very good looking watch. I would suggest someone who's not interested in wearing this as a dive watch but would like to wear it as a more office kind of watch or party watch, this will be perfect for you. So these are my honest thoughts on the Alba Blue Ripple pattern dial. This watch is actually exceptional when it comes to the design. Share this to your friend who wants a dive inspired watch or a pseudo dive watch. And if you're new to this channel, please do like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. I'll see you in another exciting video. Until then, peace out.